Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Darati Swaparantikam वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवारि पाश्चात्यरिषतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैतात् गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे संजय उवाच इति अहं वासुदेवस्य पार्थस्य च महात्मना संवादमिमम् श्रौषम् अद्भुतं रोमहर्षणम् Sanjay Uvacha. Sanjay said, Iti thus, Aham I, Vasudevasya of Krishna, Parthasya of Arjuna, Cha also, Mahatmana, two great souls, Samvadam discussing, Imam this, Aushrausham heard, Adbhutam wonder, Romaharshanam here standing on end. Translation. Sanjay said, Thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna, and so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. Purport. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra inquired from his secretary Sanjaya what happened in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The entire story was related to the heart of Sanjaya by the grace of his spiritual master Vyasa. He thus explained them the theme of the battlefield. The conversation was wonderful because such an important conversation between two great souls never took place before and would not take place again. It is wonderful because the Supreme Person of Godhead is speaking about himself and his energies to the living entity. Arjuna, a great devotee of the Lord, if we follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna, then our life will be happy and successful. Sanjay realized this, and as he began to understand it, he related the conversation to Dhritarashtra. Now it is concluded that wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna, there is victory. Vyasa prasada shrutavan etad guhyamaham param yogam yogeswarat krishnat sakshat kata yata svayam Vyasa prasadat. By the mercy of Vyasa Deva, Shrutavan heard etad this guhyam confidential aham I param the supreme yogam mysticism. Yogeshwarat from the master of all mysticism, Krishnat from Krishna, Sakshat directly, Katayataha speaking, Svayam personally. Translation. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. Purport. Vyasa was the spiritual master of Sanjaya, and Sanjaya admits that it was by his mercy that he could understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This means that one has to understand Krishna not directly but through the medium of the spiritual master. The spiritual master is the transparent medium, although it is true that the experience is direct. This is the mystery of the disciplic succession. When the spiritual master is bona fide, then one can hear Bhagavad Gita directly as Arjuna heard it. There are many mystics and yogis all over the world, but Krishna is the master of all yoga systems. Krishna's instruction is explicitly stated in Bhagavad Gita, surrender unto Krishna. One who does so is the topmost yogi. This is confirmed in the last verse of the 6th chapter, Yogi Nama Bisarvesham. Narada is the direct disciple of Krishna and the spiritual master of Vyasa. Therefore, Vyasa is as bona fide as Arjuna because he comes in the disciplic succession. And Sanjaya is the direct disciple of Vyasa. Therefore, by the grace of Vyasa, his senses were purified, and he could see and hear Krishna directly. One who directly hears Krishna can understand this confidential knowledge. If one does not come to the disciplic succession, he cannot hear Krishna. Therefore, his knowledge is always imperfect, at least as far as understanding Bhagavad Gita is concerned. In Bhagavad Gita, all the yoga systems, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga are explained. Krishna is the master of all such mysticism. It is to be understood, however, that as Arjuna was fortunate enough to understand Krishna directly, similarly by the grace of Vyasa, Sanjaya was also able to hear Krishna directly. Actually, there is no difference in hearing directly from Krishna or hearing directly from Krishna via bona fide spiritual master like Vyasa. The spiritual master is the representative of Vyasadeva also. According to the Vedic system, on the birthday of the spiritual master, the disciples conduct the ceremony called Vyasa Puja. Hare Krishna. Okay, who wants to continue? Next verse. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Saurabh.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sami Prabhu, Danda Prabhu,
And then
Pranam, Jai
is-
Shri Prabhupada. Yeah, I can read Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Rajan samasmritya samabadam imam adbhutam kesabha junayo punnam risyami cha muhu. Rajan, O king, remembering Sambada message, Imam, this Adbhutam, wonderful, Kesava, Lord Krishna, Arjuna, Punnam, pious, Hrisyami, taking pleasure, Cha also, Muhu, always, repeatedly. Translation, O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. Purport. The understanding of Bhagavad Gita is so transcendental that anyone who becomes conversant with the topics of Arjuna and Krishna becomes righteous and he cannot forget such talks. This is the transcendental position of spiritual life. In other words, one who hears the Gita from the right source directly from Krishna attains full Krishna consciousness. The result of Krishna consciousness is that one becomes increasingly enlightened and he enjoys life with a thrill, not only for some time but at every moment. Okay. Tacha Tacha samasmrita rupam atyada bhutam hare Bismayo me mahan rajan hrishyami cha punah punah. That cha also Samskrita remembering Rupam form Ati great Adbhutam wonderful Hare of Lord Krishna Hari of Lord Krishna Bismaya wonder me my Mahan great Rajan O King Hrishyami enjoying cha also punah punah repeatedly. Translation O King, when I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with even great wonder and I rejoice again and again. Purport. It appears that Sanjaya also, by the grace of Vyasa, could see the universal form of Krishna exhibited to Arjuna. It is, of course, said that Lord Krishna never exhibited such a form before. It was exhibited to Arjuna only. Yet some great devotees could also see the universal form of Krishna when it was shown to Arjuna. And Vyasa was one of them. He is one of the great devotee of the Lord and he is considered to be a powerful incarnation of Lord Krishna, of Krishna. Vyasa disclosed this to his disciple Sanjaya, who remembered that wonderful form of Krishna exhibited to Arjuna and enjoyed it repeatedly. Can I read one more, bro? Or
Yes, Prabhu.
okay, bro. Jatra Jogesaraha Krishna, Jatra Partha Dhanurdhara, Tatra Sri Vijaya Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matrir Mama. Jatra, where Yogeshwara, the master of mysticism, Krishna, Lord Krishna. Jatra, where Partha, the son of Pritha, Dhanurdhara, the carrier of the bow and arrow. Tatra, there, Sri opulence, Vijaya victory, Nuti exceptional power, Dhruva, certainly, Niti morality, Mati Mama is my opinion. Translation. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. Purport. The Bhagavad Gita begins with an inquiry of Dhritarashtra. He was hopeful of the victory of his sons, assisted by great warriors like Bhishma, Drona, and Karna. He was hopeful that the victory would be on his side. But after describing the scene in the battlefield, Sanjaya told the king, "You are thinking of victory, but my opinion is that where Krishna and Arjuna are present, there will be all good fortune." He directly confirmed that Dhritarashtra could not expect victory for his side. Victory was certain for the side of Arjuna because Krishna was there. Krishna's acceptance of the post of charioteer for Arjun was an exhibition of another opulence. Krishna is full of all opulences and renunciation is one of them. There are many instances of such renunciation. For Krishna is also the master of renunciation. The fight was actually between Duryodhan and Yudhishthir. Arjun was fighting on behalf of his elder brother, Yudhishthira, because Krishna and Arjuna were on the side of Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira's victory was certain. The battle was to decide who would rule the world, and Sanjaya predicted that the power would be transferred to Yudhishthira. It is also predicted here that Yudhishthira, after gaining victory in this battle, would flourish more and more because he was not only righteous and pious, but he was a strict moralist. He never spoke a lie during his life. There are many less intelligent persons who take Bhagavad Gita to be a discussion of topics between two friends in a battlefield. But such a book cannot be scripture. Some may protest that Krishna incited Arjuna to fight, which is immoral, but the reality of the situation is clearly stated Bhagavad Gita is the supreme instruction in morality. The supreme instruction of morality is stated in the 9th chapter, in the 34th verse. Manmana bhavamad bhakto. One must become a devotee of Krishna. And the essence of all religion is to surrender unto Krishna. As stated, Sarva Dharman, the instructions of Bhagavad Gita constitute the supreme process of religion and morality. All other process may be purifying and may lead to this process. But the last instruction of the Gita is the last word in all morality and religion, surrender unto Krishna. This is the verdict of the 18th chapter. From Bhagavad Gita, we can understand that to realize oneself by philosophical speculation and by meditation is one process, but to fully surrender unto Krishna is the highest perfection. This is the essence of the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, the path of regulative principles according to the orders of social life and according to the different course of religion are confidential, but one is still involved with meditation and cultivation of knowledge. Surrender unto Krishna in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness is the most confidential instruction and is the essence of 18th chapter. Another feature of Bhagavad Gita is that the actual truth is the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna. Absolute truth is realized in three features: impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna. Perfect knowledge of the absolute truth means perfect knowledge of Krishna. If one understands Krishna, then all the departments of knowledge are part and parcel of that understanding. Krishna is transcendental, for he is always situated in his eternal internal potency. The living entities are manifested and are divided into two classes: eternally conditioned and eternally liberated. Such living entities are innumerable and they are considered fundamental parts of Krishna. Material energy is manifested into 24 divisions. The creation is affected by eternal time and it is created and dissolved by external energy. This manifestation of the cosmic world repeatedly becomes visible and invisible. In Bhagavad Gita, 5 principal subject matters have been discussed: the supreme personality of Godhead, material nature, the living entities, eternal time, and all kinds of activities. Yeah, Prabhu, like this is very important. If someone, we preach to someone and they ask in some summary that what is in Bhagavad Gita, so we can state these 5 subject matters.
Yes, bro.
All of these are dependent on the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna. All conceptions of the absolute truth, namely impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, or any other transcendental conception, exist within the category of understanding the supreme personality of Godhead. Although superficially the supreme personality of Godhead, the living entity, material nature, and time appear to be different, nothing is different from the supreme, but the supreme is always different from everything. Lord Chaitanya's philosophy is that of inconceivably one and different. This system of philosophy constitutes perfect knowledge of the absolute truth. The living entity is its original position is pure spirit. He is just like an atomic particle of the supreme spirit. The conditioned living entity, however, is the marginal energy of the Lord. He tends to be in contact with both the material and spiritual energy. In other words, the living entity is situated between the two energies of the Lord, and because he belongs to the superior energy of the Lord, he has a particle of independence. By proper use of that independence, he comes under the direct order of Krishna. Thus, he attains his normal condition in the pleasure giving potency. Thus, ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport to the 18th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of its conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. Hari Bol.
Ribo, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
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 Ribo, Ribo. Ribo. Okay, now we need to find a new book. When did we start this Bhagavad Gita? I forgot. Is it many months?
Three months.
It's like 3 or 4 months, I think.
Yes, Prabhu.
I think 3 months because I joined ISKM in December, 1st December.
Were we reading
And
or did we just start?
start.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay, let's read 6 Astakam prayers. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagninirvapanam shreyah kairavachandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamritasvadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Nam Nam Kalibahuda Nija Salva Shakti Statra Pita Niyamita Smalane Nakalaham Itadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mama Pidudaiva Midrishamiha Janinanuragaham.
ऋणादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेना कीर्तनीया सदा हरि
नतनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीशकामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतात् भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि.
Ajinandatanu Jakinkaram Patitama Vishame Pavam Budau Kripaya Tava Para Pankacha Sitaduli Satsam Vichintaya.
Yanam Galada Shrudayala Vadanam Gadgadarudaya Gila Bulakaye Nichitam Vapukada Tavanama Gahane Bhavishyati.
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्राविर्ष्यायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे.
आश्लीषव पातारतं पिनष्टुमाम् अद्रासनं मर्महतं करोतु वा यथा यथा वा विदधातु लम्भटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव न परः.
Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render whole benediction to the living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In this transcendental name, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting this name. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy name, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and please place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears and love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will my hair stand on my body stand on end at the recitation of the name?
O Govinda, feeling your separations, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Hari Bol,
श्री शिक्षा अष्टकम की जय
Jai Jai. Haribo.
हरि
Okay, the 10 offenses to the holy name. First offense, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense, to consider the name of demigod like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu.
third offense, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
Fourth offense, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version.
Fifth offense, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
Sixth offense, to give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord.
Seventh offense, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
Eighth offense, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activity which are offered in the Vedas as putative activity, karma kanda.
Ninth offense, to instruct the faithless person about
Tenth offense, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions of this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema.
Hari Bol. Panchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Eva Patitanam Pavanebho
Namo Namaha.
Vaishnavebho Namo Namo.
Pancharatma Ananta Prabhu
Jai.
Ki Jai, Shri
Jai.
Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai,
Jai.
Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur
Jai.
Premanand
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.